What's up guys, Khraze here, and today we're going to take a look at some amazing details in Red Dead Redemption 2. There is a ton of easy to miss stuff in this game, and so far I've tried making a list of all of the tidbits that make it up, but I always keep finding more as I play, which is why I wanted to share them with you. Nonetheless, in today's video we're going to check 16 of such amazing details that exist in Red Dead Redemption 2, so let's get to it. Coming up at number 1, an awesome attention to detail can be seen after attempting to kill certain NPCs such as shopkeepers or other essential ones. Basically, if you happen to shoot a shopkeeper and come back to the same place a few days later, you will find out that he or she survived the attempted murder and is now wearing a bandage over its head or prosthetics depending on where you shot them. It seems that sometimes NPCs can actually survive bullets to the skull, and it's actually funny having them being mad at you a few days later after accidentally discharging a sawed-off to their face.
A lot of folks here have my back. You make another move on me and you'll regret it. All good. My favorite customer.
Coming up at number 2 on the list, you and the rest of the Vanderlyn gang members are not the only ones that can commit train heists. In fact, other rival gangs such as for example the O'Driscolls can pretty much do the same as you. This can randomly happen outside of major towns out in the wild, and you can see various rival gangs committing train heists, which can give you the opportunity to step in and help those people out, or on the contrary, just stay on the side and see what happens. Nonetheless, it's an awesome thing to see, knowing that other rival gangs also partake in criminal activities and not just you. Coming up at number 3, let me just say how impressive is the sound in this game. Every sound is dynamic. For example, when inside one of the wooden houses, you can hear your boots making noises on the wooden floors. You can even hear each individual piece of plywood cracking under the character's pressure and making sounds as you move over them. You can even hear NPCs in other rooms talking, walking, or making noises, and so on. Coming up at number 4, Arthur will react realistically depending on the weather effects and the temperature. If you have ever been on the mountain region with nothing but a shirt on, you most probably saw Arthur crossing his arms and trying to make himself warm again. This can happen as long as you're not wearing the appropriate clothes for that type of weather, and you can even see him shaking and shivering, even sneezing or coughing if you stay enough in the cold weather. Speaking of the mountains and snow, pay close attention to the trees in the snowy area next time you head over there. You're going to see snow forming dynamically around each individual tree branch, and if you hit the tree or shoot it, the snow will fall off of the branches as it would in real life. It's so advanced that each branch of the tree can have snow build up on it individually. While the vast majority of the time it's much faster to browse the catalog in shops, you can instead also go at each individual item on the shelves and buy them like that. Every item in the shop is individually rendered and placed on shelves or counters. You can simply get close to them, even inspect them, check them up close, and then buy them, and there are animations for everything, from picking them up, putting them back on the shelves, inspecting them, and even putting them inside the saddlebags. At number 7, while a small detail, you can see clothes getting partially wet depending on how deep you are in water. So if you only get in water up until the chest, for example, you will see Arthur's clothes dynamically getting wet only up until that point. Once you get out of the water, you can see the water draining from the fabric, and the clothes will even start to dry up in the sun. Additionally, other effects like mud, dirt and snow will affect each part depending on where it touched it, and it's all dynamic, it's all individual. Like, it seems that there are a lot of touch points on each of the clothes, which is pretty interesting. So if you, for example, happen to fall on your belly in the mud or on your side, you will only ever see dirt and mud on those areas. Since we are still on the subject of mud, if you ever happen to be in the bayou area north of Saint Denis, try throwing something in it where the mud is the deepest. You will see it dynamically form and cover whatever or whoever you dare throw it in, and it's quite hilarious seeing a person you just saved up being thrown in the thick mud in order to break them loose. So it's pretty fun to see such advanced physics for mud and snow alone. At number 9, while it's an easy to miss feature, if you ever happen to buy a newspaper from the local town, you can read in it all the current events that are happening throughout the story, and it will even mention you and the Vanderlyn gang as well as the latest trouble they got themselves into. It also features other cool sections such as announcements, product placements and other cool stuff that I'll let you guys discover, as I don't want to spoil anything, but nonetheless, go ahead and read some of these newspapers because they are as realistic as they can get. Coming up at number 10, if you ever happen to leave an animal carcass behind, if you stay a bit further away from it, you will eventually see birds of prey flocking around it and even descend and start eating from it. This can even happen with bodies of dead people, and birds are not the only predators a decomposing corpse can attract. Additionally, if you're lucky enough, you'll get to see eagles and other birds of prey descending in order to capture small rodents and then fly away with them. Coming up at number 11, you can become friends with dogs you find randomly around town or other parts of the map, and once you play with them for a little bit, like a couple of minutes, it will make them pretty much stop barking at you when you visit the same location the second time. This might also be useful to you if you choose to rob a remote house or cabin and the dog outside is making noise. You can come during the day, befriend him, and then later during the night he will pretty much not bark at you anymore. Coming up at number 12, a cool little detail regarding ice in Red Dead Redemption 2 is that Arthur can actually slip on it. The animations are pretty advanced, it will take into account the angle and the speed that you're using, and it's pretty nice to see him slide on the ice itself. You can even make him run across the ice up until its edge, and then you will see different animations for him trying to stop and not fall into water. So a pretty nice attention to detail. If you want to test this one out, all you need to do is find a frozen lake or any body of ice, and it's a cool little detail that makes the game so much more immersive. At number 13, Arthur can comment about himself in the mirror, and to do so, just get close to one, press L2 and then circle on your controller and he will start commenting about himself. There are several interesting dialogues in there that you can check out, and some of them are very interesting considering some events that happen throughout the game. Most of it is not story related, but there is like one or two in there that, well, gives a little bit of insight into Arthur's way of thinking.
You ugly bastard. You're getting old.
Coming up at number 14, Arthur talks to his horse depending on its sex. So when calming it, he says stuff like good girl or good boy depending on the horse. Similarly, he also does this when calling it, feeding it, and even grooming it. And this doesn't apply only to his horse, but to others out in the wild as well, or belonging to other NPCs. And if you're trying to tame a wild horse, for example, or calming it down, it will comment according to its sex.
That's my boy. Yeah, there's a girl.
At number 15, damage to both Arthur and other people or creatures in the game are indicated in many ways. You can see bullet holes, exit wounds, claw marks, even bruises from fist fights, and pieces of clothing getting damaged in the same way, showing rip marks where the damage was localized. For example, you can see bullet holes in your head when somebody shoots towards your head, bruise marks around your face when engaged into fist fights, even claw marks to the the face when attacked by a wild animal, and the bullet wounds from getting shot are also present, especially when getting killed. If you respawn, you will even see the bullet marks on your body. Finally, coming up at number 16, when pimping yourself out with the latest clothing pieces, you also have options way beyond just what you wear. You also have options on how you wear each individual piece. You can choose how to wear pants and shirts, and it's pretty extensive. For example, you can tuck jeans inside of the boots or wear them over the boots. Similarly, you can roll the sleeves up on the shirt or let them over the hand. It's pretty nice, and you can also open up the buttons at the neck region and have your chest exposed, but this depends on the shirt as well, so pretty awesome. There are a ton of other cool details in the game, but these are just 16 of them. And yeah, this is pretty much today's list of amazing details that exist in Red Dead Redemption 2. In the meantime, if you found this video enjoyable, then make sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this, and I will see you guys next time.